Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about the debt ceiling. We're going to talk about how it's being framed, what it is, what's going on with the whole show that's occurring, and just kind of go over all of it. We'll do this for two reasons. First, we hit the debt ceiling. Second, it's being framed in a certain way that I just think is wildly inaccurate, and I think people need to know that. You have Republicans right now saying that the debt ceiling it's like a credit limit on a credit card. No, that's not what it's like at all. A credit limit is imposed by the lender. The debt ceiling is self-imposed. The U.S. credit, it's fine. The U.S. is nowhere near its actual credit limit. Can borrow a whole bunch more. It's not a credit limit. It's a self-imposed thing. It's more like if you were to, have a credit card that has a $100 balance on it and a $10,000 limit, and you're walking into the store because you want to buy a new computer, and as you walk in, you say, I'm only going to spend $600. That $600 limit, that's what the debt ceiling is. It's self-imposed. It's not real. It's been raised, 80 times or so since the 1960s. But even that analogy with the credit card, that's not really accurate either. It's closer, but it's not really what it is because this isn't new spending. It's debt. It's old spending. It would be more like if you had a credit card for 4 years and you ran it up, $7.8 trillion. You added $7.8 trillion to the debt on the credit card, and then when the bill came in, you're like, no, I don't want to pay that. That's more what it's like because that's what happened. The national debt increased to $7.8 trillion under Trump. And now they don't want to increase the artificial limit once they ran it up. Big surprise, the person who describes himself as the king of debt ran up a bunch of debt. The idea of a fiscal conservative, that's not a thing anymore. They don't care about the debt. They don't care about the spending. It's a facade. Now, normally when you bring up the $7.8 trillion, the next thing that happens is somebody's like, Obama ran up the debt 8 point whatever, I can't remember what it is. We're just going to say 9 trillion because it doesn't actually matter. And they try to illustrate that Obama ran the debt up more. The national debt increased more under Obama. Yeah, it's true, but what's the difference? And right now people are probably thinking, Obama had 2 hot wars going on, the Great Recession, there was a lot of emergency spending, all of that stuff. And yeah, that's true, but Trump, even though his leadership wasn't there, had the pandemic. And there was a lot of spending associated with that. So that's not really fair. What's the real difference? Obama wasn't a one-term loser. He got reelected. Trump ran up almost the same amount in half the time. That's the difference. The total national debt is 31 point something trillion. 7.8 of that was from Trump's 4 years. A whole lot of it was due to the tax breaks, for the billionaires that will be at your expense later. And some of it was legitimate emergency spending due to COVID. So, it's not a credit limit. The U.S. is nowhere near its limit. It's artificially imposed. There's no such thing as a fiscal conservative. That's not a thing that they actually care about anymore. And the debt, a whole big chunk of it, was ran up by Trump. All of this is true. But it doesn't matter. We hit the debt ceiling. So what does that mean? Right now, the U.S. is cooking the books. shuffling stuff around, putting IOUs in retirement accounts and stuff like that. That will probably work until June, is the estimate, at which point the U.S. might default. If the U.S. defaults, economic calamity. But even before then, there will be economic instability because the U.S. economic system is based on faith. Not raising the debt ceiling, having to put in IOUs and cook the books, it shakes that faith. Could have implications for the stock market. Could have implications for a lot of the economic situation in the United States. The Republican Party has been up there not long and is already damaging the economy. Big surprise. Now, one of the other things that tends to follow when you explain this is, then why are they doing it? Why is the Republican Party doing this? Because let's be real. Do you think that the Republican Party is going to hand Biden a balanced budget? You think they're going to create a budget surplus? I think that's what they're going to send up there to him to sign and give him a massive political win and pretty much ensure his reelection? Of course not. Of course not. They're not going to do that. So the debt's going to continue to go up because the budget that Congress is going to send is going to have a deficit. So the debt will continue to rise. They're not going to send up a balanced budget and give him the first surplus since, what, Clinton? Clinton's budgets? It seems super unlikely. It's not about that. It's about a show. It's about obstructing. It's about trying to get their projects into the budget. It's about leverage. They're using your economic stability. They're putting that at risk. They're putting the U.S. economy at risk for themselves. And to paint the picture that they care about fiscal responsibility when it is them saying not to pay the bill doesn't make sense. It's just not true. About the only thing they're right about here and that they're being honest about is that, yeah, there's a bunch of spending that could be cut. That's true. That is absolutely true. But they're not really concerned about the national debt because they're not going to send up a balanced budget, which means they're not actually going to try to reduce the debt, which means the debt ceiling has to be lifted no matter what. It's all an act. It's all a show to manipulate their more easily manipulated base. That's what it is. It's all about obstruction, trying to cause a little bit of economic instability, hope that people blame Biden, get some leverage for their own programs that they're going to spend, which will add to the national debt that they're pretending they care about right now. It's all an act. Don't fall for it. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.